This video is how to fix the tilt feature in a 2002 E39 BMW. As you can see, when I push the button to tilt, it doesn't work. First step you want to do is you want to prop up the sunroof manually and then hold it up with something soft. You want to remove the bellow from each side of the sunroof. And what I did is I took a screwdriver from the front part of it and you just kind of pry it out like that, and that'll enable you to then remove the bellow from the top piece of the window. The next thing you want to do is remove the 3 torque screws. You can see 1, 2 near the back, and there'll be one more way up here towards the front. So there's 3 of those on each side. Once you get the back 2 screws off, you can lift the window up a little higher. It'll give you a little more access to the front screw. Once we got the torque screws taken off on each side, I came to the outside of the car and I propped up the window as high as I could so I could get access down here to where the tilt hinge slider pin is, and you can see it way down here. Then what I did is I took a screwdriver and I take my screwdriver right underneath in here, and then I just pry this apart to get the pin out on each side. This is a bit tricky, so I wanted to show this to you again. Once I remove the glass slides from the tilt hinge slider pin, you can basically, this tilt hinge, you can basically move that down and get that out of your way. You can see it's now removed from the sunroof glass slides. You do this on each side, and then you can remove the sunroof glass itself from the outside of the car. The glass from the sunroof out, and you can see now where the broken parts are here. This here is supposed to be connected to this. And so this is the piece we have to get out. So what we're going to do now is we're going to move the sunroof back electronically about 8 inches. Should raise the wind deflector here. And then we're going to be able to disconnect the pin underneath here. Slider's back about 8 inches or so. What happens then is the wind deflector comes up. And then underneath here is a little washer that basically you're going to pinch together in here. And it'll pull this out, and you can disconnect this wind deflector arm from this wind deflector. This is the tricky part. And in order to do this, what I did is you push the wind deflector down a bit. You get needle nose pliers and put them in here and push the little plastic washer together, and then it comes through this side of the wind deflector, and you have to push the wind deflector down in order for this to move over, and then it allows you to bring this over this way. And then you can see the 2 are separated. Once you get the pin out, then you take the wind deflector arm and you just get that out of the way, move it to the back like this, and then we'll go ahead and take off the stop, which is this piece right here. Okay, next I have the stop taken out, and then the reflector arm, you can go ahead, this just slides into this little bracket, you can just take that out and remove it. And the reason we want to do that is because now we want to move the slides forward, and we can remove these and the broken piece as well. So we can slide these right off the front now. Okay, now that we've gotten the broken front slider piece out, we want to electronically move the sunroof glides here to this position so you can access this plate. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take out this screw, and there'll be a pin underneath here. You can see that. And we're going to remove it from this glide, the main glide, so we can remove this piece. And of course my rear glide as well is broken, as you can see here, and I've actually taken out the arm, and you can see where it broke off at this point. As a result, we have to do some additional steps. It gets a little more complicated, and first thing we'll have to do is remove the headliner, so we'll be able to remove the sunroof assembly. I've already removed, as you can see, the door handles all the way around the car. I removed the front visors and the lights in the front. The center console that has all the buttons for the sunroof and your garage door opener. So you can see them all the way around the car. And then once you do that, you know, the tricky part is you don't have to mess with the pillars too much. As you can see, I left those intact, one in the back and the front pillar. The trick is, though, once you get all the handles apart and you start pulling down the the headliner, then what you'll do is you'll kind of pull back from the back. You can see back there. What you'll do is you'll want to make the headliner go back towards the back of the car, and as you pull this way, they'll come out of these front pillars up here. In addition, in order to get the headliner out, you're going to have to remove the 4 torque bolts in the front from the top of the car, 3 on each side, and then there's 4 in the rear side. Then once the headliner comes down, you can see it's just laying on top of the seats here. You'll be able to unhook the center light. Okay, with the headliner out, I just basically left it in the car. It was too difficult to get out of my 525i. It's a 2002. So I'm working around it. Doesn't seem to be too much of a problem. And then there's going to be 4 drain plugs in the corners of each of the sunroof assembly, so you'll want to remove those. And then you'll go across, there'll be bolts in here. I've removed a couple of them. And here's the motor here. There's a couple of bolts on that as well. So just work away around the sunroof assembly. Remove the ones in the front first, work your way around, and then we can remove the ones in the back. Our motor to the sunroof assembly is up in front. There's one wire that connects to it. There's a little black clip. You just push down and pull the wire out. Once you get all the bolts down off of the sunroof assembly, there's a little clip right here that holds the back. Once you take this off, the back will fall down, and then we can pull it off the front. And then the front assembly, the sunroof assembly, there's this little black clip. Actually, it's kind of a big clip. And it slides right up in there to kind of hold the front. So after you take the clips off the back, slide this out of the front and you should be able to take it out. This is the sunroof assembly out of the car. Much easier to work on now that I have all this extra room. And the main slider, as you can see here, and the part I bought is actually the whole assembly. So here's the front slider piece, comes with the arm and the rear slider. So it comes with all this, including this little arm here. And basically to detach the cable from the broken piece, which usually it breaks about right here, you slide this all the way back out here, slide out here, and it disconnects from the cable. And then basically just clean it all up, put some new grease on it, put it back on the car, opposite of how you got it out. And when installing the rain gutter, which is very important, this is the back piece of the sunroof here, this plastic piece here. When you install this, make sure you engage it back into the back slider. There's a spot way in the back here. And then it clips on right here on this little peg on the back slider. So there's 2 spots it needs to connect for it to be installed properly. Now to reinstall the sunroof glass, basically put the sliders in the tilt position, as you can see. And you might note that when I put the sunroof back in, I made sure that these were fully forward, that the sliders were fully forward. I turned the motor on a little earlier, took it out of the panel, and with it plugged in still, I turned it to go full forward before it stopped. Then I reinstalled the motor to make sure everything was in the closed position. The trick to installing the sunroof glass is to prop up the back side with a towel or something soft, and then getting this pin in down the front pin. On the front slider there's a pin that has to go into there's that little gold thing down here, way down here, and you have to get that pin in. And one of the easy ways to do it is have someone else hold the sunroof up on the other side, although you still have the towel here, and then you can kind of maneuver that pin into on each side, maneuver the pin into the hinge on the front of the sunroof glass. The last step in installing the sunroof is to make the adjustments so that it aligns properly when it closes. And basically you have these 3 screws on each end. You can see that screw up there. And basically what I did is, by following some instructions on the internet, I just loosened these screws and then would adjust the sunroof accordingly. One issue I noted is that it wasn't closing all the way, so I took the motor, I lowered this down, took the motor out, left the motor plugged in, and made sure the motor went completely forward. While the motor was unhooked, I was able to push the sunroof this all the way forward as well, and then reinstalled it, and then it closed perfectly. And then, as you can see, it now closes down, and After many hours, successful project. As you can see, it's aligned pretty well with the top of the roof. And that concludes our video on how to fix the sunroof, including removing the complete sunroof cassette of a 2002 E39.